If I can remember to turn on the camera every time, it would be nice. Anyway, I just went out to the shed and I got me these 2 rounds of oak, and both sides are already done with Varathane, so I had to do the edges with Wipe-On Poly. And Wipe-On Poly is basically your polyurethane or polyethylene mixed half and half with paint thinner. And I do them first so that hopefully they'll be dry by the time we get everything else done. Now what we're going to do is make a mini cider press. I didn't have the money to either buy the material or the cider press, so in a previous video I did show how to make apple juice by boiling the apples and then straining out the pulp. What I didn't like about that was that you add a lot of water and then you have to boil the water off afterwards. So you boil it down to what would be good apple juice, or you can boil it all the way down to apple syrup or apple jelly. I like boiling it down to the dark apple syrup first because it changes the taste a little bit, and I like the taste of the reconstituted apple syrup better than the just the apple juice. However, like I said, if you're adding water to it, then that's extra electricity or extra time on your wood stove, whatever you've got to use to then re-evaporate that water off. So I did want a cider press, but like I said, I didn't really have the money to buy a cider press, nor did I have the money to buy all the material to make one. Coffee containers, they come in various materials. So this is Maxwell House. It'll have a similar lip to this, so you can cut off the lip and you can use this somewhat as a planter. Because it's cardboard, and I'll show you here in a minute, you see, so this old part is cardboard. I don't know how long this would last. It would definitely be good as a 1-gallon planter for starting a larger perennial or a tree in, but it might not last beyond that. I don't know. Folgers comes in this plastic container. Now it's got various different curves on it, and so basically you'd have to use it like this. You can use it for storing dried material, you can use it for a water container, and once again you can use it for a planter. This would make an excellent planter. You just put something around outside as a aesthetic thing, and then you've got your plastic planter inside. Only for house plants though, because sun would degrade this. Neither of those are any good for making a cider press. This one, however, it's made of metal. So take that off, put it out here for fire starter. Now I've got a nice metal can. This type of can opener, this is the one you need. To cut that lid off. Lip, I should say. this lip cut off. Hopefully I got enough power left in this. Now you can use a drill, corded or cordless, and a relatively small bit. The exact size doesn't matter. You'll see why later. I'm trying to make a straight line of holes here, just for aesthetics purposes really, but I'll go all the way around and then I'll go up about ½ an inch and make another row, go up ½ inch and make another row, and so on. And I'll just sit down and do that, and I'll bring you back when I'm done with all these holes. Halfway up the can should be good enough. Now, if you know about drilling metal, you see all those burrs on the inside? So I have to take this now with the grinding wheel on and smooth off all those burrs. So that's our center can. I have a plastic container here that it can fit into. And the juice is going to flow out into that. And what we want to have happen then is that have a spout come out here so that I could have a container down here. So we're going to have a spout come out here so that the juice will flow out and into a container that we'll have right here. What I've got is just a piece of copper pipe and I've flared it out on the end. Now, let's think about how we're going to actually go about doing this. My wood burning tool gave out. I ordered a new one because that's one of those things that I have to keep in my grasp of products I can make. But at any rate, see, we can make a hole with this bit. And then I'll switch it over to this bit to widen it up. That's a nice tight fit. Which means it shouldn't leak, but I'm going to put some glue around this outside edge anyway. I got a better idea. warm up the plastic and it'll stick right onto that pipe. Gotta put a glove on. I guess it won't stick onto that pipe. I do have it formed though now that I can put this part right in flush. Let's see what we're going to do. You'd think that I'd have silicone around here, but no such luck. This is that thread tape, the only food safe stuff I have here. So I got that. So I've got that wrapped. Now it shouldn't leak. Guess we'll find out, eh? Now we're standing one on one side, one on the other side, one across the top. Now I have woodworking clamps. I'm going to put them up this way just because they don't necessarily have to be right out to the edge. So that's in there nice and solid. If I were to just put screw down there, screw and glue it together, then when I put pressure on, it would push that right off. It wouldn't work. What you could do though is add a base down here and then run threaded rod all the way through, and you'd have a nut and washer on the bottom and a nut and washer on top. But since I have the woodworking clamps that'll do the distance, then I'll just use the clamps. This is some frozen apple pieces. So because they've been frozen and thawed, we're first going to try just putting them in just as they are. This is a piece of that roll cover, the floating roll cover you use in the spring. You can use cheesecloth, but I found this lets the liquid go through and keeps the pulp out better. So you've got it lining the can like that. And now I've got my office chair there with a block and that jug there. And you see here's the spout that comes out there. And we'll fill this right up now. Ah, I'm almost had the full pot full. Now I have to cover it over. And here's my disc that I showed you earlier. That fits. You can see the juice is coming out there already. Now these things are a dime a dozen. They come with your vehicle. That's the jack that comes with your vehicle. Some of them are hydraulic, some of them are mechanical. I don't know if you can put the hydraulic one upside down, but because this one is mechanical, I can do it upside down. Like this. And then I get something that I can turn that with once I've got it tightened. Once it's starting to get really tight, you just leave it for a bit and let the juice drain. And then after a bit you come back and you tighten it up some more. Now I'm going to release it again and we'll see what we got. In here we have a half a jug of juice, so that's a liter of juice out of that number 10 can full of apple pieces. Put that out here by the computer. There's a little bit of juice down there I gotta pour. Actually, I'll just pour it here in the pot. Oh dear. He's really jammed in there. Gonna have to make it a little smaller, I think. I'll have to get it out and then I'll show you once I get it out. I had to damage the top of the can to get this out. I don't know if I can repair that or no. I'll find out. That's still quite moist. I'm going to try one through the, maybe grind it with the meat grinder. I taped my can back up with duct tape. And I made the disc smaller so that it can go down there easily now. Put some screws in the top just to hold those three pieces of 2x stock together so that it's easier when I'm setting it up. And now we're going to try running the apple pieces through this meat grinder. I have a manual meat grinder, but I'm going to use this electric one now. So this is the block of apple pieces that we pressed before. And this was what the apple pieces that was left in the pot. So I'm going to do all of them and put them in the can and press them again. Remember, we got 1 liter of juice from just pressing this. The battery ran out, but I was letting the battery run out anyway because I have 2 batteries. But this didn't take very long, it just took a couple minutes. So let's take our can down, put our liner in there. See what we can do now. Now, whether you want to press it whole and then grind it, or grind it first, could be a matter of opinion, or personal preference. You see this? So when I was putting the last bit through, the stuff that hadn't been pressed yet, it squirted juice out at me. And that's what you're going to get if you just put the apple pieces through the grinder fresh. I'll put our smaller lid down there. And this is why I have the 2 of them. Now I can actually put this one down there and this one on top of it. And what I just figured out is that I can take the drill with this thing and initially do it up tight. And yes, we have juice running out already. And I'm going to leave that for a little bit. I'm going to turn off the camera here now, and in a couple of minutes that'll stop. And I'll tighten it down again and see how much I can get out of it. It looks pretty much like that's going to be it. That was a little over 2 kilograms. Going on 5 pounds is about 4 pounds, 13 ounces I think it was. That is beautiful apple juice and it tastes oh so delicious. Now, what's left in here? Like I say, we can take out the pieces fairly easy now. Some come up around the edge, but not very much. It's still mushy, which I can use it for food if I want. But I think once again that the hens would really like this. And that's where this cake is going to go. See, now let's see. I can't squeeze any juice out of it. So even though it's feeling slimy, there's not much liquid left in that. The ends only ate about half of what I brought out to them, so I'm assuming they're not all that enthused with it. So this batch, what I'm doing now, I'll probably just put in the compost. Next year I might figure out something to do with that. Some green stuff this time from a different type of apple. But this boy of little money has figured out how to press juice from fruit pulp, so that makes me happy. And I hope you enjoyed the video and maybe gave you an idea of what you can use. Hit the like button, make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you in the next video.